So what if I told you that some of the most brilliant, technical, and forward-thinking thrash metal ever written came from a band that started as roadies for the band Celtic Frost, or Celtic Frost, I don't care. Welcome back to Headbangers History, where we break down the legends of heavy music. Today, we're diving into Coroner, the Swiss power trio that took thrash to a whole new level, blending progressive, technical, and even jazz-like elements into their sound. So why didn't they become as big as Metallica or even Megadeth? And why do modern metal musicians still worship their riffs? Let's break it down. Welcome to Headbangers History, where riffs reign supreme and legends are born. Let's dive into the heart-pounding history of hard rock and heavy metal. So the birth of Coroner. In 1983, three young Swiss metalheads, Tommy Vetterli, guitar, Ron Broder, bass and vocals, and Marky Edelmann on drums, formed Coroner while working as roadies for Celtic Frost. But unlike their employers, who embraced the blackened doom, Coroner wanted to go technical and futuristic. By 1986, they had recorded their first demo, Death Cult, with Tom G. Warrior of Celtic Frost handling the vocals. It was raw, but already showed signs of their insane technical ability. Then came their debut album, and it shocked the thrash world. Shocked this 15-year-old. So from 1987 to 1993, they had R.I.P., The Birth of Technical Thrash, Coroner's debut album. R.I.P. was a mind-bending mix of speed, precision, and neoclassical elements, while most thrash bands focused on aggression. Coroner pushed into prog territory with their intricate solos, odd time signatures, and a jazz-like riffing. Essential tracks off it were Reborn Through Hate, which is a perfect mission statement, technical, brutal, and airy. Nosferatu, was a haunting and classical-infused thrash anthem. Fried Alive was pure, chaotic speed metal. Complete insanity. Fans of Megadeth's Rust in Peace or Death's later albums should go back and study this record. Coroner was way ahead of their time. The second one was Punishment for Decadence in 1988. The breakthrough. This is where Coroner truly defined their sound. Punishment for Decadence refined their songwriting, making it even more complex, more heavy, heavier,
wrong,
and melodic. The essential tracks off that were Mass Jackal, their most famous song with a crushing riff and a politically charged lyric. Skeleton on Your Shoulder, which is more of a thrashy, groovy, and a bit unpredictable. And then Absorbed, dizzying guitar work that proved Tommy Vetterli was one of the best shredders in metal. So this album put Coroner on the map, earning them a cult following, but still the best was yet to come. The third one was No More Color in '89. Peak Coroner. If Punishment for Decadence was their breakout, No More Color was their masterpiece. This album was progressive. It was dark. Insanely technical, featuring some of the best musicianship.
This is basic English?
Not too smart, huh?
In thrash history. Had Die By My Hand, one of their catchiest yet most intricate tracks. Tunnel of Pain, shifting tempos and haunting melodies. Killer drumming in that too, by the way. Read My Scars, one of my favorites, is the perfect mix of what I would call maybe aggression and melody. And at this point, Coroner was respected as one of the most technically skilled bands in thrash, rivaling even bands like Voivod and Watchtower. The fourth was Mental Vortex in 1991, where thrash met the progressive metal. By 91, thrash was evolving and Coroner certainly embraced it. Mental Vortex slowed things down slightly, but added even more atmosphere and complexity. It was almost like a dark, futuristic concept album, showing their ability to mix the thrash with the progressive metal. Some of the essential tracks off that were Divine Step, and this is a masterpiece of intricate riffs with haunting vocals. Son of Lilith is more hypnotic, eerie, with an industrial feel. I Want You, She's So Heavy, which is a heavy, doomy cover of the Beatles. And it works. This album proved Coroner was more than just thrash. They were actually artists. 5 was Grin in 1993, the last chapter for a while. By 93, thrash metal was dying, sadly, replaced by grunge, groove metal, death metal. Instead of repeating themselves, Coroner released Grin, their most experimental album. It had a longer, groovier set of songs with industrial elements and a moody vibe. Internal Conflicts was a slow-burning, heavy track that showcased their new direction. Serpent Moves was hypnotic, rhythmic, groove-heavy. Host, one of their most atmospheric and haunting songs. While Grin was perhaps misunderstood at the time, today, when I listen to it, it seems like a visionary album, influencing bands like Meshuggah and Gojira. But then Coroner disappeared. From 1994 to 2010, after Grin, Coroner saw the writing on the wall. The thrash was fading, thrash music, metal was changing. They weren't interested in following any of the trends. In 94, they just disbanded, leaving behind 5 albums of pure genius. For years, Coroner remained a hidden gem, worshipped by musicians but ignored by the mainstream metal fans. But then, they came back. So let's talk about the return of Coroner. Lives Again, 2010 to present. In 2010, Coroner reunited for a few festival shows, and the response was massive. Fans and musicians alike begged for more. They played Hellfest. They played the Maryland Death Fest. And 70,000 tons of metal. They hinted at new material, but only released a compilation called Autopsy in 2016. But in 2021, they confirmed that they were working on a new album, their first in nearly 30 years. With today's metal scene finally catching up to Coroner's level of musicianship, could their next album put them back on top? I know it's been 8 years since they announced the new record, and Coroner was never the most famous thrash band, but they were one of the most innovative and influential. Definitely worth a listen. They took thrash, injected it with progressive complexity, created something that was way ahead of its time. Bands like Death, Voivod, Gojira, Meshuggah, they owe them a huge debt, and with a new album on the horizon, their story isn't over yet. When that new album arrives, I don't know, but I'm going to look into it. So if you love thrash history, do me a favor and hit the like, subscribe, share it, drop a comment with your favorite Coroner song. And if you haven't listened to Coroner, go check them out. I promise you it's worth it. I'm Fred Carroll from Headbangers History. I'll see you again tomorrow. Welcome to Headbangers History, where riffs reign supreme and legends are born. Let's dive into the heart-pounding history of hard rock and heavy metal.